Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to another Riders Republic report. We are still ongoing the trial, and I'm telling you, this game is shaping up to be a very good experience. So far, everything that I've seen in terms of the offering, in terms of the way the game plays, even one of the mass races that I jumped into, which is not going to be my focus. I'm just going to be grinding the PvE side, leveling up and being super OP and trying to complete the very tough challenges. But even the, mass race that I joined was actually not bad. I did about 2 of them, and I thought these were quite decent. Nothing to complain about in that aspect. But there is one more thing, just one, that has been cropping up lately, okay? So let's look into it very carefully, because a game like this, you want it to come out on its very best footing, because it's a very different game. It's a different take on this, X Games, extreme sports type, game genre. And so every single title you want from this, you kind of want the very best possible product that you can get. So I've played the game on 3 platforms, Xbox, PS5, and on my PC. And I just want to say shout out to Ubisoft for giving me, extra time for my own, access to be able to kind of delve deep into some of these things and just, point them out. And I've noticed that among the 3, one of them, I'm having a little bit of this performance issues in terms of latency. Now, this is my PlayStation version, and the reason I say this is because in the very first few hours of the trial releasing, I tried the game first on my PlayStation and then my Xbox and then my PC, but I noticed that on PlayStation I was having some control issues. I chalked that up to just, the controller, the way it vibrated, and all these other things being in my way. And so I mentioned that in my first impressions video that I made about, a few days ago. And then I tried it on the Xbox and the PC, and it went very smooth, with the Xbox being the very best experience at that time. And so I just started to kind of look around, and on the comments here, some people have been making notes that their PlayStation version has been having some control and latency issues. In fact, I saw some for PC, but I haven't experienced that anyway, so I thought I could investigate the PC and the PlayStation and see what's going on. So I went to this little course called The Ridge. It's actually here close to your, main center of operations or whatever, the social area. And I started to do it on the PlayStation, and I noticed that I had an input delay every time I tried to jump, because this is a track that requires for you to do a lot of jumping with your bike. And so I'd have to tap that jump, anticipating the delay before I could actually jump. So I thought maybe it's just because I'm bad at this. Let me see if the PC version will provide another aspect. So I ran the same thing on PC, and I had no, latency. I had no input delay at all. I used an Xbox One controller, and I said, this is actually not bad. Now, I haven't tried this particular ridge on the Xbox Series X because my trial there, ran out, and it's not synced to my Ubisoft, progress. So I just kind of, said, let me just leave that out of the equation. Let's try these 2 out. And then I returned back to the PlayStation 5 to try this once again, and I noticed that for certain there is some sort of an input delay. Now, I'm hoping that the developers will take action on this to finish this part of the game, because I think this is just the last stretch. So far, everything that we're seeing, from the community at large, everything that we're seeing in terms of the game and some of its offerings, they seem to be okay and satisfactory. But we don't want something like this to come and hinder the progress of the game and the enjoyment of the game more than anything, because that's what we play games for. And then one other thing that I did as well to make sure that some of these were not necessarily from some random settings going on was I did some settings that were in the console side of things. So I went into my PlayStation controller settings, I reduced the intensity of the the vibrations and all of that stuff, and I made some interesting changes here and there. You can't really do too much, and I don't know necessarily how the haptic feedback is going to be working with this game. And so perhaps, I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I just kind of made some changes just to see if something will be different. And I got into the game. I turned off the crossplay capabilities and just a few more things, and then I started making some tweaks to the dead zones of the controller sticks, and just to see if that would help a little bit. But so far, almost everything that I tried was not working. And so to me, I just feel like the problem is something that may be coming from somewhere that I don't know. I try my best to study a lot of what game developers do, but in terms of multiplayer and social games, I do not have much of a concept how those things actually work. So I think this is something the developers can look at and see what exactly may be causing these issues. Now, another thing that I did was I went on Twitter, and if you go on the Riders Republic Twitter, they'll basically encourage people who find or have any issues to basically forward those concerns to the Ubisoft support team. And I went ahead and did that. You know, in the past, they've been responsive. In my case, anyways, they've helped me out with a few things, but that's about it. I mean, I haven't really necessarily got too much too much interaction with them, and so I guess I can only judge by what it is that I have, if you get what I mean. So that's pretty much what I feel like will be one of the major finishing touches that this game will need before it releases. I'm hoping they deploy a patch for this to be able to fix this issue, or it might be an isolated issue where just a few people are experiencing it, but at large, in general, everybody else is not necessarily seeing this, you know, this particular thing. But guess what? We don't want this to be a thing that comes into the game, or it's like a hidden bug that has not necessarily been detected. Also, you have to keep in mind that this is the trial build. The main build, basically the full build of the game, is going to be different. In fact, by now, I'm certain that they've just been putting finishing touches to the main, game itself, and making sure like things are already fine-tuned. Usually, developers will work till almost the very last minute in order to basically get the game to the best possible, version that they can get it. And then when you download the game, you're basically going to be probably downloading something that, they've already uploaded somewhere to be ready to go. But if they need to put out a patch, maybe in a few days, they'll probably do that. So keep an eye out for this. If this is something that you're experiencing, I wouldn't say, right off the game just because of that. I've seen some people tell me that they've canceled their pre-order because of this. I would say continue to keep an eye out because I think they'll probably make the changes. I mean, why would they not want to do that? Especially for the fact that the game is cross-play. So if they don't make those changes fast, they will harm their prospects of having people join into the game and such. But I would also encourage too that if you have a second console and you've had an issue on one, I would say try on a different console. Maybe control schemes may work out for you. Maybe it could just be truly that there is this latency issue, but we don't necessarily know what it is. Anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. If you had this latency issue and you were able to resolve it in this trial build, let me know how you got it done, because I would also love to, basically take that and share that with everybody and even try it out for myself to work. Talk to you guys in another video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.